Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rulebook. This will be episode number 39. You guys are seeing me back on my couch again, just like episode number 38, which unfortunately happened a month ago because you know what? Your girl was thrown by the new background. Honestly, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something like that, then you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. But basically, I live in a studio apartment in Manhattan, which a lot of you guys know, especially if you check me out on TikTok or Instagram. Very often you'll see me filming somewhere and my bed and my couch are both in the damn shot. Okay, that's New York City problems. But it's been seriously difficult to try and carve out a little corner for myself in my little studio to do my podcast, especially because I'm a visual person. I want to create a video. I want to make my podcast work across the platforms, girl. You know how this is. You know how this industry is. You can't have a podcast, you got to have a vodcast, okay? So that's what I was trying to do. But switching up the background and moving from my little corner table, which is where I was originally at, really threw me off, and it threw me off my rhythm. So I think, like, for creatives, don't take for granted the fact that you shouldn't be fixing what's not broken. So a lot of things have happened since my last episode. I believe the last episode I did, I was talking about Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson and Mila Kunis and the fallout from their character letters that they had written about him. But so many things have happened in terms of like celebrity drama and what's been going on and the fallout with Russell Brand. And oh man, 2023 has been uncovering the drama seriously in 100 different ways. We're not going to talk about the news because that's really no fun. I think we're all being inundated with tragic international news every single day, every single hour of every single day, and it is heartbreaking what is happening right now out there in the world. So let's keep it light. Let's keep it light and fun. Let's try to. If you've been watching some TV, I've been watching a little bit of TV, and I recently watched, what is it called? Get Gotti. I was like, growing up Gotti. No, that's not right. I was watching Get Gotti, which is on Netflix. It's like a limited series, and it's a 3-episode, I believe, look into John Gotti and his rise to becoming the Teflon Don, a.k.a. like America's favorite mobster. And while I was watching it, I couldn't help thinking about, you know, besides the fact that they were saying that the public really fell in love with him over his image and how he dressed and like his arrogance and confidence and his magnetism and just how he took no shit. I was really starting to think about, oh my God, why are we seeing this repeat with Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump is obviously in and out of the news for all of the court cases that he's currently facing. And he's in multiple states, baby. He's in multiple states. The man is wanted. No, he's not really wanted. I don't think he spent a day in jail. Anyway, he's all over America, right? And he's still running for president, but he's not hitting all these states to campaign. He's hitting these states to face charges. And yet the public still loves him. Even today, it was announced that he is 27 points ahead of his fellow Republican nominees in the polls. And he's never even attended a single Republican primary debate. So that shows you a lot. That the media, Donald Trump in the media, has clearly been painted as some sort of victim to those who follow him or those who sympathize with him. So how is it that someone like Donald Trump and John Gotti was able to leverage fame in this way, despite, you know, doing what they do behind closed doors and literally, but like publicly facing court cases and still come out on top? What the hell is that? Okay, and I was thinking about this, and I was thinking maybe rule number 39 is the fact that fame and infamy are not the same thing, right? Because infamy guarantees you will fall. We don't know when, we don't know how hard, but you will fall. That is guaranteed when you are infamous versus famous. And I think it's fair to say that John Gotti wasn't famous, he was infamous. And maybe some people saw him as famous, but truly, when you heard how he was dressing that way and how he was living the life that he was leading, a lot of people took a step back and were like, maybe I don't want to be like John Gotti. Maybe he's not my fave mobster. Maybe I don't like mobsters, right? And I think even all this shit that recently came out about Kanye West and his time designing with Adidas and collaborating with them. And all this stuff that came out, the New York Times did this crazy expose on what it was like to work with him. And he was so anti-Semitic, and he had this one employee kiss a picture of Hitler almost every single day on the job. He had these crazy ass demands, and overall he was just a psychopath. Like, really, he was truly a bad person behind the scenes. And I think it's interesting that once we peel back the curtain, we're disgusted. And I'm not saying Kanye started out as infamous. Kanye didn't. Kanye started out as famous, and unfortunately he played his cards wrong. He played his cards like shit, and he participated in hate speech, and clearly he ruined his relationship with Kim. He really fell from grace, and I think he's no longer famous. He's famous, but he's more infamous than he is famous these days, especially when articles like the New York Times expose comes out, and literally, you are now unredeemable. Unredeemable? I don't know. But, as someone who goes on social media, as someone who's trying to build a platform on social media, as someone who's trying to be known and get her face out there, it seems like the people who are the most successful are the ones who have to do the cringy shit, who have to be known for the bad things, or who have to do the wild and crazy things. And that's just not me. Despite my own career and goal aspirations, I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't operate that way. I can't. Sensationalism is not my jam. I like to have fun. I like to be lighthearted, but I don't think most people want to engage in sensationalism, especially if it's such short-lived. Taylor Swift has that great lyric about it's exhausting, such shit about it's exhausting rooting for the anti-hero, and it is true. People get really sick and tired. After a while, you may have liked Kanye, you may have liked Trump, maybe you still like Trump, maybe you like John Gotti, but it does become exhausting rooting for the anti-hero after a while. Everything that they symbolize has nothing to do with you or me, right? Because I think a lot of people liked John Gotti because, all right, he's beating the system, and to anyone who's disenfranchised or feels like they can't get ahead, or like, everything is not set up in their favor, everything is set up for them to lose and to pay. Yeah. You're not mad when you see somebody winning because it's so fucking rare. But actually, it becomes exhausting to root for that kind of person because they're not good people. And deep down, I think all of us who are not crazy or psychotic do want people to be rewarded for being good, for contributing something of meaning to our communities, not necessarily for harming other people. You don't want to root for the person who steps on others to get ahead. That when I was little, I used to say to my aunts, or I would put on these shows, right? Like in my living room, and I would say to my aunts, I would accept my award, and I'd say, I just want to thank all the little people I had to step on to get here. And that's very fucking funny, but that's true. So many people got to where they were going, or where they were headed, and to fame and to success and to wealth by stepping on other people. That's not a good look in the end. You can't continue to root for that person because something will give. I don't know what's going to happen with Donald Trump. I don't know what's going to happen with the campaign. I don't know what's going to happen with Biden. That everything is up in the air right now in terms of the world and what's happening. So who knows? But I think Taylor Swift is right. It's exhausting rooting for the anti-hero. And I think some of our anti-heroes will find that out sooner rather than later. So we shall see. Unfortunately, Matthew Perry passed away this weekend at his home in LA while he was in his hot tub. Very shocking news, especially to the millennials, to anyone who's a fan of Friends. Matthew Perry was not very old. He was 54. He definitely went way too young. Obviously, his memoir came out just last year about his struggles with addiction and, just the demons that he faced, even while he was a successful actor playing Chandler Bing on Friends. And the news was so fucking sad because you see everyone on TikTok mourning him and just reposting old clips of Friends. And it was, I don't really cry for celebrities, but that shit stabbed me in the heart. I was so sad because Chandler Bing and every one of those characters really did feel like a friend to those of us who watched the show, especially growing up. I watched the show growing up, and we watch the reruns every now and again. So it's not that they're top of mind, but they're in the background, right? As people who people who almost became like family because they were always there. I'll be there for you, So sorry. I'm sorry. I hope your ears are not bleeding. Here's someone who had a lot of success, was really funny, was really loved, did everything that he wanted to do, right? He really wanted to be famous. He admitted that. And they were still plagued by those struggles that the everyday person has. He was still plagued by those demons. He was still unhappy. And he was still fighting a lot of battles that no one knew about. And that's really scary. When you think about it on that bigger scale, when you think about it, that's really, I don't know how to explain it. It's really scary when you stop and think about it. How someone who could seemingly have everything from the outside could lose it so quickly. And I guess wasn't able to really enjoy what they had. That's fucking sad. What else is going on in the news? Well, Halloween is happening. I did a video on my TikTok. Recently on my TikToks, I've been focusing more on the news. I'm trying to rebrand myself. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys, but I'm trying to rebrand myself as a rogue reporter, I guess, or some version of a funny reporter. I'm trying to write jokes every day about current events, even though it's been pretty hard with the news coverage being mostly in the Middle East. And I don't obviously feel comfortable making any sort of, you can't make light of the Middle East. This just, no. A lot of people don't even want to say anything about the Middle East because it's just that, it's that touchy, it's that sensitive, it's that big of a deal. So anyway, but I have been trying to focus more on news stories that I want to cover and writing jokes about them. Because the more that I progress on social media, the more that I try to grow my following, the more I'm like, what's working, what's not working? And as much as we love New York City rules and dating rules and all everything like that, I wanted to really expand my content. And some of you guys know I have a journalism background. I have a master's degree from NYU in broadcast journalism. And I never really talked about it, but after journalism school, I couldn't get a fucking job in my field, which is very typical, right? You study something in college and you think, all right, after you graduate, in the next month, you'll be working in your field, in your major. Oh my God, not true. And I wish someone would have told me this earlier. Whatever you major in, it doesn't actually matter. Maybe you should pick the major that will make you more money. Because picking the major that you like and that you may have some interest in isn't going to do you any fucking favors because people want real world experience. And we really don't talk about this enough. But anyway, I never went to go work in journalism after even receiving my master's degree from NYU, right? And a part of the reason was because I wasn't willing to go move to the Midwest or move to a small market and be a television reporter. Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on television. And back then, it was really before the blow up of social media because this was in 2015, 2016. So it wasn't necessarily oh, you can do this from anywhere. You can be remote, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't really like that. So I am born and raised in New York, which is the number one market, by the way. So, and they tell you in journalism school, you need to go start at 150, market 150, which would be I don't know. I don't even want to offend anyone, but I don't know. It could be somewhere in Arkansas, right? Okay. I've never been to Arkansas, let alone want to move there to then take 10 years to move up the ranks to come back to New York. No, your girl doesn't even know how to freaking drive. Okay. So I wasn't going to do that. But with social media and everything that's happening and everything that has happened post pandemic, I'm I gotta go back to the news. I gotta incorporate this into my life somehow because I've been applying to jobs. I think you guys know that I work in social media full time as a social media manager. I'm also an actress, but I'm should I go back into the news? You hear about all these videos being oh, content creators are going back to get 9-to-5s. Well, I'm not 100% against that. I've been looking around, but you can't get a job in New York City. Not in this kind of field. I'm sure you can get a restaurant job or a sales job or something like that, which good. I'm happy for you guys. But it's extremely difficult to get anything that's not entry level. Even entry level I've been applying for. I don't hear back. You don't hear back. So I'm like, let me just try and mix the comedy, mix the journalism on my TikTok. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But I wanted to expand that on the podcast here. So you guys let me know what you think about that. So Halloween is today, because that's what I'm going to post. Halloween is today. And some of you guys know SAG-AFTRA is still on strike. And like 2 weeks ago, they announced a new guideline saying that anyone who's a member of SAG or who wants to be a member of SAG cannot dress up as any character from struck work. Meaning you can't dress up as Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, because Disney is a company that is currently what is the damn word that is currently being protested against by the actors union because of, the whole shit about fair wages and AI and all that. Okay. So you don't want to dress up as Princess Jasmine because that would be seen as like free promotion, which actors, we're not trying to do things for free right now, rightly so. But a lot of people had a lot of strong opinions about that because it's like, well, can my kids not dress up as Princess Jasmine or dress up as like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, what is this? Why are you trying to infiltrate every crevice of my life right now? And this isn't just for SAG members. It's also for people who hope to one day be SAG-AFTRA members. So it seemed like a lot. It seemed like a big ask. Not that it's a big ask, but it seemed a little intense. Let's be for real. I made a joke. Was like, SAG knows that half of us got into this industry because we love the goddamn costumes. So who are they hurting with this mandate? They're really sticking the knife in our chests. But anyway, a lot of celebrities, people who are in SAG, they didn't seem to give a fuck. Let me be for real. Like, I'm pretty sure some people dress still as Barbie, which would be a giant one that they would be protesting against. Damn, I don't have names for you guys, but I know that Paris Hilton went as Britney Spears in Toxic. A lot of people went as Britney Spears because of the memoir release, which is fine. Britney Spears is not struck. But I definitely saw a lot of content creators dressing up as Barbie or people dressing up from different Disney movies. And I'm just like, do you not realize that you're literally going against the guideline? I didn't dress up as anything because, girl, I live in New York City. I ain't about to fucking dress up as a goddamn Halloween character. I get harassed as myself. I don't need to put in any extra effort for that. Also, I don't really go out on Halloween weekend. It's just, I don't know. Halloween is like weird vibes. It's like bad vibes. Not that I don't like Halloween. Wait, it's not that I don't like Halloween. It's just I'm not putting myself out there on Halloween weekend. If there's a weekend that I'm staying home, it's that one. I mean, I mostly stay home. I'm boring as fuck. But Halloween weekend, I just think it's for kids. Like, even, girl, there was a shooting in Tampa, Florida over the weekend at like a Halloween thing. Or everyone was in costumes. I don't know if it's on the street or what. But everyone's in costumes and there was a shooting. And I was like, and they were showing like, after the interviews, they were showing the people. Everyone was Gen Z. Everyone was so young. They were dressed up and they were at this party and it was a shooting. And I was like, oh my God. Not only was there a shooting, but, oh, you guys all look so young. It's so sad. But no, seriously, I just feel way too fucking old for Halloween. Unless I have a kid. I mean, I have 2 dogs. I could dress them up, but I just think it's too much, right? Or if I'm invited to a party, like, that's different. But you know what? Your girl wasn't invited nowhere, so what can I say? I had no goddamn reason. Part of me was like, I should dress up as Britney Spears and put it on Instagram. But then I was like, ew. I'm literally going to dress up as Britney Spears just to post a photo on Instagram. Like, even I was like, ew. I'm giving myself the ick right now. I can't do that. So I didn't do that. But, maybe next year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I loved seeing all the Britney Spears costumes. I love Britney Spears. I love the fact that people are supporting her. And I need to buy that memoir. I haven't read it. I mean, I heard the reviews were kind of all over the place. I heard some reviews, people being like, this book is very hard to read. Thank God Michelle Williams is reading it to us, because whoever wrote this, what is this? I know Brittany probably had someone to help her, but yeah, I can only imagine that it's not Charles Dickens, right? Okay, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that Britney Spears' memoir is not, this like great literary work. That's fine. She's spilling the tea. We're paying for the gossip, okay? That's fine. So I haven't rushed to buy it, but I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it on TikTok and Instagram. So, I'm getting what I need from it. And I'm happy for her. And apparently I believe she is going to be releasing a part 2. So it's going to be even more gossip for us. Thank you very much, Brittany. We appreciate all the tea that you are spilling. We're here to drink it up. So, yeah. That's what I've been up to. That's what I could think of in the news. I've been toying with the idea of getting a co-host, but I was like, who would be my co-host? Also, what am I going to do? I can barely fit into my studio apartment by my damn self. How am I going to have a second person here? Like, where would they sit? Where would they sit? They would sit right here. Well, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you have no idea what the hell I'm saying. But basically, I don't have room. I don't have room for a co-host, honey. I'm basically filming this in a freaking tuna can. Okay? No. Let me know. I'm very lucky. I love my apartment. My little studio apartment serves me very well, okay? But no, for real. I don't know how people have a podcast in their studio apartment. This is too much. But then I'm like, am I going to spend the money to go to a studio? No, in this economy, absolutely not. So, you guys are going to have to deal with this background for a while until I tweak it up. But if you were to come sit here and see this, you would laugh, because honestly, half my apartment is taken up by the lights that are currently facing me. So it's very funny. But yeah, that is what I have for you for this episode, everybody. This was episode number 39. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for sticking with the rule book, for following me on all my social media pages at Serious Actress. Okay, shameless plug, for commenting, for downloading this podcast, and of course for subscribing to me on YouTube. You can check me out there at Serious Actress at Alex Palmer. This is the rule book. Yeah, it means the world, you guys. I hope that you guys are all doing well, you're safe, and that we talk soon.